Well, big challenge ahead of us tomorrow night with a really, really talented team. I think probably the most talented team we've seen in a while. We've certainly played some teams with talented players, but top to bottom, this is a very talented basketball team Texas A&M brings to Memorial Coliseum. So we will have to play extremely hard and execute well. I think we'll have to be really sharp and focused tomorrow night because they definitely present a big challenge. So I would just really implore the fans to come out tomorrow night and pack Memorial. It would be a big, big help to us. I think it's going to be a great, great game, and I think it'll be worth the effort to make it out to Memorial Coliseum for a great game against Texas A&M.
Do you have any updates on Asia Bishop?
Asia's looking at probably 3 or 4 games out, crack in her wrist, very small crack, so it could have been worse. She is good with the blow to the head was not a major concussion or anything, so that was good news. She's in a splint right now, and we're looking at 10 to 14 days. So that's probably going to be about 3 or 4 games. And she can shoot during this time. She can do some cardio, and so we'll just focus on trying to help her get better as a shooter and make this time as beneficial as it can be. But she will not be available for 3 or 4 games.
It's her non-shooting, right? Her left?
It is. It's her left wrist.
Do you look at Texas A&M in any way as a model for maybe you all, because they're not Baylor, they're not Connecticut, they're not Tennessee, but yet they were able to win the title?
I have looked at their program as a model in many ways. I just think it's incredible what Coach Blair has done there. And if you think about where they were, I think before they got there, they had recently gone winless in the conference. They had never, they were 0-16 one year. And so Coach Blair is one of the best coaches around, and he's done an unbelievable job there. And I don't think a lot of people expected it. So that is very inspirational to everyone who's in a program that maybe is not one of the traditional powers. So that was very inspirational. And then when we were looking to go to pressure defense, I called out there, and Vic Schaefer, who's the coach at Mississippi State now, was running the defense at Texas A&M, and we watched how they played, and we were inspired by that 4 years ago. So I've looked at their program and admired it for many years, and I think we got a great athletics program as a whole in the Southeastern Conference, and it's definitely adding to the quality of women's basketball. So I have a lot of admiration and respect for Texas A&M women's basketball.
Has the game become a little bit more special playing against this inspiration, the one you've looked at?
Well, I tell you what makes this game special is that they are such a great team, and we feel like we have a good team, and just the challenge to be able to play in this kind of game with, the winner's going to come out in a really good spot. And, it's still early in the season, and I just think it's a great, entertaining basketball game. So we're just really excited that our program's at a point to where we're in a game that people care about and that matter, and I think it'll be one of the best games in the country. So that's what's special about tomorrow night, the players that are going to get out there and see who can win.
What challenge do they present? What makes them great?
Well, they're really, really solid talent-wise, just from top to bottom. They have a lot of talent. They run a bunch of different things offensively, so that puts a real stress on you defensively. They can score in a lot of different ways. The best post tandem we will have seen this year since the Baylor game, and Bellick and Bone are really, really good post players, and their bench is strong in the post when they come off the bench, and I just think that their overall talent and their ability to score and defend you, they're just one of the top teams in the country, and they will definitely challenge us tomorrow night. We'll have to play well to win.
How much does that change your alignments when you, because of them with your post players?
Well, that's what's so great about us is I feel good about our matchups too. I think we have a great chance to win the game because our players are talented too. So, this is going to, I think, a game that's just going to come down to who's able to execute better and who's able to persevere and hang in and maybe get a break here or there. I think it's a very evenly matched game, and I feel like we have some great players that we're going to put on the floor too. So it won't change a lot what we do. We'll try to play as close to our identity as we can. That's what we try to do each and every time we take the floor, and it'll be exciting to see how we match up with Texas A&M tomorrow night.
What about your post tandem? Can you talk about Samari and Denisha and kind of what they bring to you guys this season that maybe you haven't had in the past?
Well, I think that you see two really talented offensive players who are hustling on defense, and who maybe earlier in their careers there was a knock on them that they were just offensive players and they weren't very good defensive players. And you see Samari leading our team in steals and rebounding, and Denisha is really giving great effort on the defensive end. And so we're a little different as far as it's not as we're not forcing as many turnovers maybe in some games, but we're able to block shots at a higher level than we've ever been able to in the last 3 or 4 years. We definitely can control the backboards when we assert ourselves. I was so proud of them on Sunday for really asserting themselves on the backboard. When they're motivated and really in tune with what's going on, they can be real tough rebounding. So we can finish possessions with the rebound where we used to kind of rely on maybe turning somebody over. So they've made us a little different, a little bit bigger presence in the lane. And so I still think we're playing good defense, but then you go to the other end of the floor and they're just really, really tough to guard, and they're playing well together, and they like each other, and they care about each other, and they have a strong connection. And I see them, really encouraging each other. So those kind of things really help you as you think about a team sport like basketball. I just think having players that care about each other is really, really important. And those two kids are playing well together right now.
They seem to have sort of opposite personalities. Maybe they're not very similar, but they seem to kind of play off one another in kind of an interesting way.
Well, their games are a little bit different. I'm trying to get both of them to play with a lot of power, but Samari's probably a little bit more power around the basket, and Denisha certainly can be, but she can step out a little bit better, and so it's a good complement for each other. Their personalities are off the court are sort of similar. They both have good sense of humor and good positive outlook, and so I think it's one of the real fortunate things in our program's development the last couple of years for those two kids to come to Kentucky, and I'm really grateful they're here.
Yeah, Coach Blair, who was at Arkansas and remembers the 40 minutes of hell, said that that's pretty much what his team is expecting this week, or tomorrow, I guess. Is that what you guys would like to give them, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want the up-tempo, crazy?
Well, we're going to play a full-court game defensively. We're still playing a full-court game. We're just not trapping as much as we have in the past. But we're still going to try to make them catch it as close to the baseline as they can and work for 90 feet or so to get the ball to the basket. So, yeah, we'll definitely try to get that done, and that's just one of the things that our players have paid the price to be able to do. That's something we need to do. We need to play with a lot of energy. The one thing I think our team's doing a great job of is making it giving people heck on offense coming back at you. So, the tempo is really tough. If you make a basket, you got to be ready to run back the other end, because Jennifer O'Neal is like, she is really doing what I want her to do. It's like she is shot out of a gun right now, and there's a bullet going down the court, and that's what we need. And then you have to have post players that will run to the rim, and we have that right now. So I think that it might be a little bit different, but I still think it's a 40-minute game, and I still think it's 40 minutes of pressure. And while we may not be trapping and rotating all over the floor, we definitely want it to be a full-court game Thursday night.
Is Janae Thompson giving you what you want in practice now, or did you send a message clearly, or what are you getting from her?
I don't. It's too soon to tell if the message has been sent clearly. I will evaluate that over a series of practices, but it's not a complicated set of circumstances we have here. We just need great focus and effort and desire in practice, and there's no way I can know you're going to do that in a game. So it really starts there. So it's too soon to tell. We've just had one practice since Sunday, and I will be encouraging her to practice hard today, and we'll see what messages have been received.
How helpful was it to have that Florida game to open up the conference? I mean, things like you did, like say with some of the long inbounds passes, I mean, what things did you learn from that you feel like can help you in a game like this?
Well, I think the first conference game against a quality opponent like Florida always helps you kind of measure where you are. For me, anyway, I don't know how everybody else is, but there's just always still just a bit of uncertainty. I have so much respect for the conference and how people play and the quality of athletes and players in this league and the quality of coaching, that first one I'm always a bit apprehensive to, are we really ready? Are we ready to step up when the games matter most? So it was very helpful to play a tough game and to perform well and beat an opponent when they're playing extremely well. And we certainly made some mistakes, but we did a lot of good things. So that was a great game for us and a very valuable win. And we always are trying to work in our press to make you catch it as close to the baseline as possible. So anytime they throw it over our heads and go shoot a layup, that's an opportunity to learn and get better, and that's something we don't want to do. So when you're exposed to that and that happens, it gives you a chance to go back and practice that, and the players to redouble their efforts to make sure that doesn't happen. But those were some things that were valuable in the Florida game.
You have a chance to break your record, 31 home wins, straight home wins. It will be a new program record. What would that mean to you to get that and against a team like this, I guess?
The biggest thing, the most important thing that a win tomorrow night would be that we have beaten a really good team. And so for this team, that's what tomorrow night's about, and go 3-0 in the conference and just, beat a team we have great respect for. I will be thrilled if we can win it. The winning streak would be something we would look back on at a later time. That would be something, if we ran it out through the end of the year, that we'd be very excited about. But the thing that would be so exciting about tomorrow night would just be if we can find a way to beat Texas A&M, it will mean we have beaten a very good team. So that's what I'd be most excited about. I am really, I'll just say this, I'm really proud of every player that's worked so hard to create that. 30 games in a row over 3 seasons is hard to achieve, so I really have respect for our players for the effort that they've put in. I really have respect for all the fans. It's been thousands of people have come in there and been a part of that. So we want it to go on as long as it can. We'd love for it to go on forever. It probably won't, but we're sure going to try like heck to extend it one more night at least.
My last question is about Kelsey Bone and just what kind of matchup problems does she present to you guys?
Well, she presents a lot of problems for whoever she's playing because she's so talented and so big and just really long arms and great presence in the paint and a very good shooter around the basket and just does a great job using her body to get position on you so she can score, and good rebounder and just piling up tremendous statistics. So physically just so imposing, and they do a great job of playing around her and helping her get open and get the ball. So the matchup I'm most concerned with is on the perimeter because, one-on-one, if you played a bunch of one-on-one games, maybe Griner would beat her, but if you played one-on-one with Kelsey Bone, she'd beat a lot of people, I can tell you that. So we have to really do a good job of trying to make sure that they can't find her as often as they would like. They're going to find her some. She's just a really good player, but the post defense, the onus is on the guards to really do a good job tomorrow night, try to keep the ball out of the paint.
At home court, you lost maybe 2 out of your last 6 or something like that. And having been all over the SEC, what are your feelings on the home court you have as far as where it is in the SEC? I mean, you got to figure Tennessee's probably the best, but where do you think your home court is from what you've seen?
I think our home court's the best home court in SEC just because of how passionate our fans are, and how our fans were turning out before we had any kind of streak like this. That's why I respect our fans so much. We were getting great crowds when we were 16-16, and quite frankly, I didn't enjoy watching us play very much, and we'd still have 4,000 or 5,000 people come out and watch us play. So to me, it's the best because they just love Kentucky and they love women's basketball, and it is really an honor and a privilege to go out there and play and coach. And that's why we try to work so hard in the summer and in the off season to prepare ourselves, and why we try to communicate to the players how special it is, because these folks really work hard to spend the money to come and the time and the effort to come. And so we just try to honor them with a great effort every time out. So I think we have the best home court in the SEC, and we might have some argument with that, but that's my opinion. And I'm really, really appreciative of everybody that makes it such a great place to play.